Hey everyone, how are you doing? I got a chance to check out the new animated Spider-Man film from Sony, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I got to check this out early on December 2nd before it releases. So I'm going to give you my thoughts so you can get a scoop on what I think before the film comes out. Let's get into it.
This was never your city. It's mine.
If I don't destroy the collider, none of us will have a home to go home to.
Remember, what makes you different
Let's go.
is what makes you Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the next Sony film in their Spider-Man little franchise they have going on, but this time it's an animated theatrical film, and in this one it stars Miles Morales as the main Spider-Man character. And after Miles Morales gets bitten by a radioactive spider, he now has the powers of a Spider-Man, and he has to work together with the other spider people who have been dragged into Miles' universe due to the Kingpin opening up a portal which dragged the other characters from the Spider-Verse into Miles' universe, and Miles has to work together with them to try to stop the Kingpin so each of the Spider people can go back to their respective worlds so they will be okay. Now, coming out straight out of the gates, this film looks amazing. The animation is brilliant. This is some serious next level theatrical animation which will be put up on the big screen. The animation style is really unique and it genuinely looks 3D at times. It is amazing and you will really have a massive appreciation for the animation after you see this film. It does take about 10 minutes to get used to, but once you do, you absolutely love it and you really appreciate it for what it is. Miles Morales is extremely likable and he's a great character throughout the film. He's a really good choice for the next Spider-Man to use in a big theatrical Spider-Man film. He has great arcs with the characters including Gwen Stacy, and he works really well with Peter Parker. They have a really good relationship and bond throughout the film, which I really love. Miles, also being a teenager, is going through changes, and I loved how the film deals with that. And for example, there's a scene, it's in the trailer, where his dad makes him say I love you to him once he walks into school. There's a great scene there where we're going about in his head on what the other children think of the fact that he said that, and he's worried about what the children think because of his dad making him say I love you. And there's lots of great stuff like that throughout the school scenes that Miles has to deal with, which I really appreciated. The older version of Peter Parker is a great addition to the film. If you're wondering that he's lost his edge as Spider-Man and he won't be an interesting character because he's not the teenager that we associate Peter Parker with, you're wrong. He's really good in the film and he acts as a really good mentor for Miles Morales, and they have a great arc together about taking a leap of faith as Spider-Man, and being Spider-Man really is a leap of faith, and he really plays a great mentoring role to Miles throughout the film. Spider-Ham and Spider-Noir, I wasn't quite sure if I would like them going in, but coming out, I actually genuinely really like the characters. They establish them enough to get you to actually really like their characters. And speaking of a massive aspect which makes you like their characters in this film is comedy. This film is packed with comedy and it is so funny. Like, the jokes land, that's very smart humor and it's funny. The film is very smart with its explanation of characters too. For example, when a new character is introduced, it doesn't take a bunch of exposition to set up the character. For example, when Peter Parker is introduced, it will say something like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man. I'm sure you know the rest." It doesn't bore you with the details that the audience already knows because the film recognizes that the audience already knows these pieces about the characters. There are lots of surprise characters throughout the film and surprise things that happen, which I won't spoil, of course, but it's really nice to see some of these characters come onto the big screen and alternate versions of fan favorite characters. There's really great storylines in this film too. There's a great storyline with Miles and his dad. Miles' dad doesn't want his son to get too far away from him. He wants them to have a connection and he still wants them to be together because Miles is a lot closer to his uncle and his dad just wants to keep the connection and relationship alive between them, and there's a really great storyline going on with that. The loss that Miles experiences in this film, just like all other Spider people, is fantastic and is handled brilliantly. I love how it's handled and it is really impactful. Just like the Uncle Ben death for Peter Parker, Miles' loss in this film is terrific and impactful, and I really love how they did that. Now, the opening sequence of this film is one of the best opening sequences I've ever seen in a film this year. It is packed to the brim with Spider-Man references, which fans are going to love, especially hardcore fans of the character like myself. And it is also packed with a reference to the Comics Code Authority, which I, being a massive Silver Age comic book fan, absolutely loved. Speaking of comic book references, there are so many good comic book references throughout this film, as well as Spider-Man references hidden throughout the film, which I absolutely love, from classic covers on Spider-Man and early classic covers of that Silver Age Spider-Man books, which fans absolutely love. I noticed them. The comic references go so far as to even show the correct advertisement on the back of the digital animated version of the comic book in the film, and it has the exact same ad as the real life comic book does on the back of that, which I absolutely loved. I won't say which comic it is, but boy, that was like, I recognized the back cover. It's a really iconic back cover, and I went nuts. The film uses comic book text boxes throughout the film, which is crazy good. It was so cool to see, and it was a really fresh take on a superhero film. They'll be like up in the corner, it would be like the next day or later that night, and it would be awesome because it literally feels like sometimes you are watching a comic book come to life. Speaking of comic references, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but if it was intentional, I applaud the filmmakers sincerely as a comic fan. But when they say that Spider-Noir was a character from the 30s, they show a comic book and it has the 10 cents pricing on the comic book, and 10 cents is how much comics were back in the 30s. So if that was deliberate, I absolutely applaud the creators of the film. Also, I have to reference the absolutely incredible soundtrack to this film, especially the amazingly fantastic Sunflower song by Post Malone. I've been listening to that on repeat so much since it came out late October, and when Miles starts singing it and it plays in this film, it is amazing.
Say I keep a check. She was a bad bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck. Crash at my place, baby, you're a wreck.
All around the board, the voice acting is really good, and of course, it is a bit saddening to see the Stan Lee cameo, although it is a really great cameo indeed. The end credit scene is also very good and very funny, so definitely stay for that. Guys, this film just feels really fresh. It is a great piece of animation, and I absolutely really enjoyed this film quite a lot. It's very vibrant, it's very colourful, the action scenes are great, the characters are well written and well developed. I would definitely watch this film again. It has a lot of rewatch ability, I would say. This is easily one of the best animated films of the year. I'm going to give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse an 8 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this review if you enjoyed the review, and share this review to your friends. I really appreciate the support, and it would be awesome if you could get them onto my channel. And subscribe down below to my channel, Barry Jeffrey, if you want to see more reviews and movie related content. I'll see you guys next time in another video. Bye.